Well, good morning, everyone. Happy Labor Day. Is that what we're supposed to say? Okay, good morning, everyone. And I might be surprising some of you that I'm actually on today. No holidays for the Doctor is in podcast. Brahim, you're up bright and early. Portland, Oregon. Eric, welcome back to Canada, Mogo. From Ottawa, Brahim. And Kathy, good morning. There's Kevin. Mike, I had to guess, Kevin. I didn't even see your name. Niagara Falls, is that, who is that? Rosa. See, guys, now that I've... Jeanette, good morning. Georgie, Halifax, Nova Scotia. Gloria. And Jerry, I am going to try to find out if I can fix this. Mary, Norwich, good morning, because I can't see those names like I used to. Nick from our staff. Donna, Park Hill. Diane, good morning from LaSalle. Frida, good morning. And Yolande, bonjour. And who was that from Markham? That's Wendy. Micheline. Bonjour, Deb from Timmins, good morning. Laura Lee, Hamilton. Adeline, good morning. Kim, how is ya? And Gloria, hey, pretty good crowd for holiday Monday. Francis, Susan, good morning. Florida, Maureen, Penticton, British Columbia. Joanne, Berks Falls. Serpa, good morning from the lake. Laurie, Fran, Orangeville. And Cape Breton. See, I missed the name. Arlene. And Nativity, good morning. And see, missed the name again. Bob Cajun, I wanted to say hello. Anne. And guys, I'm telling you. Rosemary. Frances Marie. And guys, I apologize for all those I missed. Louise, how are you? Heather, Miramiche. Margie from Kansas. Carol from Stratford. Nancy from Gore's Landing. And Crystal, Newfoundland. Maria. And Keith, good morning, Keith. How are ya? And Marilyn from Edmonton, Alberta. Debbie from Rice Lake. Sonia from Beamsville. Denise, good morning. Eleanor, Burlington. Couple more. Laurie from Cambridge. And missed it. See? Lucy, Nova Scotia. And Saskatchewan, good morning. I couldn't see the name. Barbara. Okay, guys, I really am going to try and fix that because it bothers me that I can't say hello, or at least I miss so many people. And we kind of like our roll call here on the Doctor's Inn. Like to say hello to you guys. So, you know what today I'm going to do? Holiday Monday, I am going to do headlines over the weekend. Headlines over the weekend. I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 headlines that we're going to talk about this morning. The news. And we're going to give you the news behind the news, okay? Now, unless you live on another planet, you heard that Jimmy Buffett died, okay? Margaritaville, famous. Jimmy Buffett, I think he was 76 or 74, I can't remember now. And, who didn't like his music, right? I mean, right? But listen, guys, here's, I read an article about it yesterday, and it bothers me because they just had to do it. They said, well, he died of a very rare skin cancer. And guess what? Here's what one headline said. I think it was the New York Post. might have been the New York Times, bathed in sun. And of course, he got skin cancer. And they're going to blame the sun. I'll tell you what, folks, and I don't know Jimmy Buffett any more than you do. Okay? I know one thing, and this just happens to be facts, and I know that bothers a lot of, especially in the media, especially with their narrative. The sun, stay out of the sun is bad, the sun cancer. Well, I'll tell you what, the deadly cancers are just the opposite. And we've been saying that for years. And one of the things that we've said at the Martin Clinic, first of all, I'm going to tell anyone that I know, anyone, don't go burn in the sun. Okay? The idea is not to burn. But here's the facts, man. As the old Dragnet TV show used to say, just the facts, man. Just the facts. Here's the fact. People who don't get in the sun, melanoma, are people that don't get in the sun. People that work indoors. Not people that sunbathe. And remember, guys, in 20 minutes, you expose your solar panels, your arms, your legs in 20 minutes. And you know me, I like that middle here. Go down a few inches from your collarbone, right down the middle, into your sternum, and think of your thymus gland. It's a real center for your T cells, and I tell you to put sun on that. You are a human solar panel. Sun, steak, and steel. And by the way, those are all three of those are in the headlines this morning. But don't be duped, because they're going to scare people skinny on sun. Brought to you by Johnson & Johnson. Brought to you by sunscreen companies. And by the way, isn't it interesting? Quietly, the FDA has taken hundreds of sunscreens off the market because they were cancer producing. Now, I'll tell you something. If the FDA did that, it must be bad. But I've always said consistently that when you add heat to chemicals, you got a bad recipe for cancer. Heat? I learned this in high school. And when I almost blew up. You know, I tell you guys, I majored in recess. And, you know, I was fooling around too much in high school. And in my chemistry class, I almost blew the lab up because I put a Bunsen burner and I put heat to a pile of things that I put into a vial. And I almost blew the lab up. But I never forgot that lesson. Don't add heat to chemicals. And when you lather up your skin, your kids, your grandkids, when you lather up their skin with these chemicals, and then you add heat, I'm telling you, don't blame the sun for what sunscreen does. Don't blame the sun for what sunscreen does. And I know you watch because Jimmy Buffett was a famous guy, and they're going to make hay while the sun shines, so to speak. Because these companies that make sunscreens and God love them dermatologists who are stuck in the 1950s, they just can't get their head around the sun is not the problem. Burning, yes, but they just won't admit that people get that they get the deadly cancers are people that don't go out in the sun. So that bothered me. I knew once I read what he died of, I said, watch. The media will be all over it. Warning, preparing the narrative. Get rid of the sun. I heard the White House is talking about blocking the sun with Bill Gates and others. Let's block the sun to save the planet. You know what, folks? It's craziness on steroids. That's what that is. Can't live without the sun. Ooh. Anyway, guys, it always comes down to, isn't it? Us and them. We know better. We read the headlines and then we put it into perspective. There's another side. We don't just drink the Kool-Aid of the narrative that the sun is bad for you. I'll tell you guys, for every person, I wrote this years ago in a book, for every person that dies of skin cancer, 150 people die from a lack of vitamin D. Vitamin D and all-cause mortality is so well established now, and the media can't stand it because Big Pharma, who buys the media, who's bought and paid for the media, and politicians, Big Pharma has their tentacles in everything. And do you think Big Pharma wants to hear about the effectiveness of vitamin D? Nah, I don't think so. I don't think so. And we know better. Vitamin D, it's essential. It is so good for you. It is the most effective, seriously, guys, anti-cancer, anti-cardio, anti-Alzheimer's, you name it. Vitamin D all around is the most important vitamin in the world. Sun. The sun. Okay. Now, John Denver had it right. Sunshine on my shoulder makes me happy. Okay, now, so that was one. Jimmy Buffett dies and the media starts their little parade. Here's another one. Eating. This came out on the weekend. Long weekend. Eating 3 eggs a day leads to lower fasting insulin. 3 eggs a day. I talked to a kid, a young guy, probably 18, 19 years old the other day. And he told me that he is planning to eat 36 eggs a day. I was just about dying laughing. I said, how are you going to eat 36 eggs a day? And believe me, one thing, you ain't going to be hungry, that's for sure. I've worked. But guys, eating 3 eggs a day. Foods that are vilified. Oh, Dr. Martin, what about my cholesterol? Yeah? What about it? What about it? Do you know how good that is for you? Do you know how eggs are nature's perfect food? I like steak better, but eggs. Eggs, meat, and cheese, I put them on the top. EMC. How many people are going to do the reset in September? Let's do it. The best thing you can do. And this study showed when you eat eggs, it helps with insulin resistance. When you eat an egg, it makes your cells more sensitive to insulin. You want sensitivity. I want you to be a sensitive person. I'm very sensitive. Did you know that? I know with this big voice, you think I'm not sensitive. I'm very sensitive. I'm very sympathetic and sensitive. But guys, I'm telling you, you want your cells at the cellular level to be sensitive to insulin. Why is that? Because I take out my pen. What does this remind you of? A ballpoint pen. It should remind you, if you've been a follower of the Martin Clinic, it should remind you of a pancreas. Dr. Martin, what's a pen got to do with a pancreas? I'll tell you what it's got to do. It's the same size as your pancreas that sits right underneath your stomach. And the reason I like the illustration, because a ballpoint pen not only is the size of your pancreas, it also contains ink, which I equate with, in my illustration, insulin. You don't want to run out. And the more carbs you eat, the more you're going to have to use the pen. And you're going to run out of ink or insulin. And the more you eat carbohydrates, sugars, bread, pasta, rice, cereal, sugar, sweets, pastries, juice, milk, grocery store milk, muffins and bagels and blah, 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 blah. The more you eat that stuff, the more we eat that stuff, the more you have to use insulin. And your cells become what? Resistant. Get out of here. I can't stand you. Why do you come all the time? The bad neighbor. Knock, knock, knock. Will you get out of here? But we know what happens. That's diabetes coming. That's heart disease coming. That's cancer coming. That's Alzheimer's coming to a theater near you when you develop insulin resistance. It causes a cascade of metabolic problems in your body. So you want to be sensitive. Sensitive. You want your cells to be very sensitive to insulin. Okay? Insulin sensitivity. And here's what the study says. When you eat eggs, your cells become sensitive to insulin. That's what you want. Guys, this is us in a nutshell. It's what we talk about in food all the time. You don't hear me talking about calories. You won't hear me talk about it. You can't make me talk about calories. Dr. Martin, how many calories should I eat every day to lose weight? Well, we tried that. The world has tried that, and it don't work. It's called yo-yo dieting. It don't work. It doesn't. Yeah, you'll lose weight, but it won't stay off. What are you going to do? Calorie reduce the rest of your life? No, no, no. Eat the right fuel. Eat foods that your body absolutely adores. It will keep your pancreas the rest of your life. You will have ink in that pen. How do you like that for an illustration? You will have ink in that pen. I was an illustrator, okay? It's the way I learned. I couldn't help myself, okay? Got it? Okay, that was headline number 2. Eating 3 eggs a day led to lower fasting insulin. Oh, this was a crazy one. This was a crazy one. Might have to do another program on this one. Listen to this. I saw this on the weekend. Tony Jr. and it gave us a migraine headache. Oh, the narrative. Listen to this. Okay. Just 12% of Americans, and mostly men, eat half of the beef supply. Let me repeat. Headline. Just 12% of Americans, and they're mostly men, eat half of the meat consumption in the United States, the beef consumption. They were really talking about beef. What are they trying to tell us? Okay? There's no need for meat. You don't need vitamin S. Steak? That's just Dr. Martin talking. And by the way, only 12% of the American population, mostly men, are eating all the meat. So let's get rid of it. That gave me a migraine. But again, you see, if you are not informed like you guys are, okay, you can drink that Kool-Aid. You know what? We just gotta, let's save the planet. Let's save our health. Let's save anything you can think of. And by reducing our meat consumption. And guys, it's just the opposite of that headline. What we ought to be doing is eating more meat. And I always make the case, here's the case I make. If God didn't want you to eat beef, okay? God wanted you to eat chicken. No, he didn't. You can eat chicken. Chicken's good. Beef is better. Why? Okay? Why? Well, you got to get my book, Sun, Steak, and Steel. I talk about what's in steak, beef, hamburger. And I'll tell you guys, one of the biggest problems on our planet is low levels of B12 in the world. It is a massive problem. People have no idea what they're doing to themselves by living with suboptimal levels of B12. I tell you, your brain is going to shrink. You cannot live properly without B12. And if red meat was no good for you, if beef was no good for you, why is it it's the best source of B12? B12 ain't found in salad. B12 ain't found in chicken. I'm sorry, it's just not in there. Anything you find in the plant kingdom or whatever of B12 is enough. No, mice couldn't. You know when I say that's enough for a mouse? If your levels of blood of B12 are under 800, you're in doo-doo. You're in trouble. That vitamin needs to be optimized. And the world and its narrative, again, where are they going with this? They want to get rid of meat. If you're going to eat meat, they want you to have crickets. Okay? Okay? You think Bill Gates is going to eat crickets? Nah, he ain't going to eat crickets, but he wants you to. And they really want to get rid of the farmers. It's not even a headache I get. It's worse than that when I hear stupidity like that. And I feel sorry. I used to get, and you know, I've been out of practice now really for, 3 or 4 years. And I just remember all those young people, especially young ladies. They come to my office and they get into my office and they're anemic. You know how much anemia I saw? And, because when you think of anemia, and you're right about that, if you ask most people, they would say, well, that's iron. Yep, it is. And by the way, the only iron that you absorb in your body when you eat is heme iron. Guess where you find that? Steak. So I used to see these young women, and I mean guys over the years, thousands. And was I sympathetic? Very sensitive. And I would tell them, you're being duped. What? You're being duped. What do you mean, Dr. Martin? Well, when they tell you at school, or when your friends, or on the internet, on Netflix, or whatever you're watching, when they tell you that steak ain't good for you, they're lying. It's propaganda. It's not true. And I said, I just tested you. Your B12 levels would not support a mouse. Oh, Dr. Martin, I can't eat anything but eyeballs. I said, you need to get over that. You need to understand what's happening in your body. You don't know how severe this condition is. When you're anemic, you're low in heme iron, and you're low in B12. You're not going to drop dead overnight, but I'm going to tell you something. Your body is going to develop severe neurological and other metabolic issues. I'm telling you, and sometimes they listened, and sometimes they didn't. I said, I used to tell them, can I change your mind? And some said, no, Dr. Martin, I don't care what you tell me. You can't change my mind. I said, well, you need to understand something then, right? Let's get on the same page where you will agree with me. If you will not eat red meat, you need to take B12 B12 the rest of your life. And you need to take heme iron the rest of your life. So, pick it up. Pick it up and decide which one you want. That's what I used to tell them. I said, well, I'm not going to send you out of the office without a lecture, but one thing we're going to agree on, you need to supplement every day. You need to take B12 every day. You're going to take a sublingual 4,000 to 5,000 micrograms every day. 7 days a week, you need to take it. Got it? Yep. I said, because the answer's right in front of you. Just start eating steak. But here we go with the narrative, right? Just 12% of Americans, mostly men, are eating half of our beef supply. I mean, they're not completely wrong. That's not right, by the way. But they're not completely wrong because women have got it wrong. Women bought the lie in the 1970s. I watched it happen. Fat makes you fat. And women were much more concerned about fat than men. The consumption of it. So women, they started, I watched it. They made yogurt. Okay? They made yogurt the number one breakfast in the 80s and 90s. Women did. Men don't like yogurt. Men like bacon and eggs. We're from different planets, guys. We know that, okay? But I'm telling you, I was a lecturer in my office. Who told you to have yogurt in the morning? Well, Dr. Martin, the fat-free one, I'm watching my calories. Ladies, you don't mind me teasing you, do you? You got to have a little bit of a thick skin listening to me, okay? I'm a little chauvinistic, you know? But you know how hard I am on men, because we're crazy, and we're stubborn, and men don't listen. I do, but not others. Your husband don't listen. True or false? A lot of them don't. Well, I didn't get to all the headlines. I better do this again because there's a couple of more really good ones that came out. I just gave you 3 this morning. There's 2 more that came out on the weekend that I wanted to pontificate about, but we've run out of time. Guys, great week coming up, okay? Friday's question and answer Friday. Send that in. We've got a sale going on right now, so look for our products, okay? You know what the key to our products are? You know, somebody asked me on the weekend, what do you, Dr. Martin, why do you? Well, listen, first of all, I was in practice, so I got my own formulation, okay? Tony Jr. is one of the best formulators that I've ever met. And I know he's my son, but I mean that. He's got an undergraduate in biochemistry, and one of the smartest guys I know. He's like his mother. Okay? Not like me, like his mother. And, but we formulated. When we put our cortisol together, when we put our probiotics together, when we put Navitol together, when we put, any formula that you can see there, are the best, okay? Because we have to get results. I literally measure B12. So if I sent you home with my B12, your B12 levels better have gotten up. If you had leaky gut, I knew how to fix it. Anyway, I get excited. Okay, we love you guys more than you know. And we appreciate you more than you know. And we'll talk to you soon.